What's up, guys? So this is a video about the recent reception, the criticism that the Black Flag is currently receiving on Steam. As of now, it's sitting at mostly negative. Last time I checked, and looking over the reviews. Full disclosure: there are some things I agree with, and some things I do not agree with. Because sometimes I think when people have the opportunity to review a product, they go ballistic. They go haywire on reviews, and so some of the things can be justified, and it makes sense. But sometimes, especially because Steam gives you that liberty to say whatever the hell you want, they go too far, and telling a company to F this, F that. I haven't seen anything pertaining to any threats in particular, but they go beyond what's necessary. But there are some points that are valid, and it makes sense, especially because that's something I also have a gripe with. And the one thing I do have a gripe with is the launcher. I totally get that, because let's put it this way. If you grew up on the original vanilla, the 2013, you were in high school at that time, you got your first Xbox 360, you got the Red Ring of Death. If you're an 80s, 90s kid, even in early 2000s, you got to experience. Not buy a refurbished Xbox now and be like, oh yeah, I don't like what they did with Black Flag. No, if you're in the moment, if you were there when they initially released it, if you were there during the era of midnight releases with GameStop, you were a teenager during that years, not 8 or 9 or 10. Like I'm talking about, you know who you are. You were there. You were in the moment. It's not like going to a Michael Jackson concert. He did the last tour back in the 80s, and you watch a rerun on YouTube saying, oh yeah, I saw it. No. You have to be there to experience it. It's two different things. It's one thing to experience it, be in the moment, versus just seeing it on a YouTube video. But that's besides the point. But what I'm trying to say is, I agree with the launcher situation. A game, especially if you buy a product, and you buy that product, and you buy the license, even through Steam, or if you buy the physical version of that game, across the board, that should be a given. You buy a product, you own it, you have ownership of that product that's completely yours. Because this ongoing battle with ownership is not going to stop, especially with the recent Sony announcement about the physical media. That's not going to stop. I 100% agree with that. People have every right to be upset about that. That is fine. But the one thing, if something is optional, and this particular thing that we don't know what it is, has been around for years, even through all of Ubisoft's initial games, even Unity. Unity had this. And that thing is the microtransactions, the cosmetics, the additional DLCs. That's been a Ubisoft gimmick for years. It's been around for decades. The one thing that I understand the frustration, let's say if it was forced upon you, like if you buy the game, this is just a standard edition. You buy the game, you boot it up, and the game tells you need to buy the DLC. Okay, what the fuck? I was like, I just want to play the base game. I just want to jump in and play. I don't want to buy no DLC. I don't want to buy any cosmetics. I just want to jump in and play. I get that, because if you grew up PS1, PS2, Xbox 360 through that phase or that era where it was just pick up and play, especially through the PS2 and the GameCube days. Pick up and play. There was no DLCs. There was none of that. You got what you got in the box. You got the manual. You got the cool stuff. Whatever whatever it came with. Like you play GTA, you get the maps, anything, any accessories that it came with. But if it's optional and you don't have to buy it, don't go ape shit in the reviews. Especially if, and it's subjective, and it's hard to get the point across because this conversation can go either way, and it's hard to say, oh yeah, don't put that in the reviews. You can put it wherever the hell you want. But what I'm trying to say is, it's better not to say anything when you're upset, because that will go in the public media. Once it's online, it's there forever. Is what I'm trying to say. You gotta have some sort of etiquette when it comes to certain things that can be avoided, especially the option to buy something versus having to buy it regardless. That's completely two different things. Because people have some sort of sense of entitlement. They go online, oh my god, I can't believe it's a microtransaction, and they're making me buy this. They're not making you buy anything. They're not making you buy anything, for one. And two, if, like I said, if it's optional, move on and play the game. Because, man, the reviews, especially when I initially saw it today, I was like, oh, and I checked Steam, and I saw initially, that's why I say it's mostly negative. I don't know if it's changed now. There was initially 400 reviews, and just skimming through them were literally microtransactions and the option to buy skins or whatever it is. If it's optional, I mean, you can say something about it, but don't just lose your fucking shit. Like, it's ridiculous how far people will go to post a review online and they just lose their minds. I mean, I just I do not understand that. And what was another thing was the uncapped, the 30 frames per second, but I think it was through the cutscenes, not the full gameplay. That was another one that I saw. But it was, majority had to do with buying DLC. I mean, look, I don't know how to paraphrase it anymore, because if you know Ubisoft, and they have a reputation to putting stuff in their game, especially, what are they called, those helix points? Like Odyssey, I believe, had it. Unity had it. I don't think Assassin's Creed Syndicate had it. But most of their lineup had some sort of like purchase option. And I've seen it. I grew up, I was there when all those games came out. All of them. From the very first Assassin's Creed on the Xbox 360 through high school, all of it. And if y'all know, I don't know which, I think it was Morrowind or Oblivion. I think it was that initially introduced like the first DLC, which was that the horse armor. And people bought it, and then once that became a thing, everyone else followed suit. So it wasn't a Ubisoft thing that started that trend. And that's where people need to do a little more research when it comes to this. Because when one company starts it, then everybody starts doing it. And you can thank Bethesda for that. In terms of DLC content and all this, and all the additional crap you get within games, like the DLC for expansion pass, battle passes. I mean, however it started, somebody did it first, and then and everybody else followed through because they saw money, and then when they see money, it becomes a monopoly. And when they start getting money for these products, they're not going to stop doing it because it makes them money. And I'm sorry, it's a business thing too. unfortunately. And I hate saying that because there's certain things that shouldn't be a DLC, and I agree with that because it's a double-edged sword, and it's a tricky conversation because it can go either way, and that's the difficult part about this. And I get that people have a frustration about it, but at the same time, there's other games that have done this outside of Ubisoft, especially Capcom, when they did the Resident Evil 4 remake, and that game to this day, it sounds like it came out 10 years ago, but when did it come out? It wasn't that long ago. I mean, it hasn't been long enough to say it's been a decade. It's been out for a little bit. And what else? The second Dragon's Dogma game had some sort of microtransaction, some sort of feature you can buy additional. What was it? Can you buy the oh my god, what's it called? The travel points. You can buy the travel points to get around the map, and the warm heart, which is the reviving stone. It's called if an NPC dies or something, you can buy the worm. I think it's a worm heart or something. And you can bring him back to life. People were upset about that too, but it was optional. And even with all the criticism both games got, because you could buy tickets in the remake of Resident Evil 4, but it still made money regardless, and it's still regarded as a great remake. People do comparisons to the original. It doesn't matter in terms of what it was able to do. First of all, it did what it had to do. First, it became a major hit, for one, and then two, they rolled out the microtransactions, which was those tickets you can get in game for upgrades. People were hating on that. That's fine. The game still did fine. The whole point is, I think people need to take a minute. If something's optional, then that's fine. I get it. But don't be throwing the middle finger in a review and go ballistic. I mean, people have no filter. When it comes to Steam reviews, people do not have filters. And that's, I don't know. But hey, it's fine because it's an open platform. When it comes to reviews, they can post whatever they want. That's it. But it's just a reminder of, don't go off the deep end and let your emotions take over and put something out there, because that shit is gonna stay on the internet, and the internet can be either a good or bad place. Take that as you will, but if there's an option to not buy it, disregard it. Block. Ignore it. But take a breather. Take a breather when you post something online, because damn, like I saw some of those reviews, like, okay, honestly, I seen some gameplay, and to me, I mean, if you play the original version front to back, and you play the story like multiple times, and you know what parts of the story stand out to you, then you know what they changed and what they did not change, and what they added, what the previous version, and the previous version looks good regardless. And I've seen a couple of videos of comparisons and minor adjustments to like some of the cutscenes that I think, and I get it, because like the gestures, the attitudes, the conversations, like the emotions of the characters from the original was a little different, and that's what kept its originality. But the new one, the facial, that's one thing about their games. The facial animations don't seem to express what they're saying. Especially in Shadows, what's a big component of that. And look, see what I'm doing. See, I am saying what I'm saying, but I'm not gonna be like, what the fuck? They shouldn't change that. I was like, no. Deep breath. Have constructive criticism, but don't lose your shit. but back to what I was saying. Shadows had that problem where the the emotions in the characters wasn't there, and some of the voiceovers for the NPCs was not there either. And you'd be surprised that the little things is what matter. And I agree with that. The little things, if you played the original so many times that you know what some of the things that were there that are not a new one, then that might discourage some people from getting it. That's fine. But just don't, you know, lose your shit. At the end of the day, whether you like it or not, it's still a game. It's meant to be enjoyed. It's for entertainment purposes, but of course, it's an art. It has history. It has weight to it. And I get that, but don't go out your way and say something that you cannot take back. So that's my PSA. Because there's been times where I wanted, especially here's a good example. The whole Sony fiasco that they have going on, that's not going to end well for Sony, because I agree in a way, the pros and cons of that, because especially if it's going to be in their favor, if they try to control the price of a video game purchase, especially if it's only through their store, I could see that, and there's pros and cons to that, especially if you're literally taking your platform and the consumer base where people buy your product and you have control of that market, then that could be a little, well, not even a little, that can have detrimental effects to your consumer base, because you're literally not giving them any options to go beyond what you're already offering in the store. And I get that 100%, because it's not just one person that's complaining. That's thousands, could be millions of people already that have grown up in the era of gaming, and you're literally taking something and you're just ripping off the band-aid and just going cold turkey and just making a public announcement saying, we're not making physical media anymore. All right, suit yourself. You just shut yourself in the foot with that comment. You just have people with pitchforks in your front door, and as of late, I think the last post that I've seen so far on X that they posted was about their control stick, like controller thing, that their hand controller. That was something, but every tweet, every post that they make, it was just bring back physical media, bring back physical media. I'm not buying it anymore. I'm going somewhere else. I'm going PC. I'm going Switch. So, yeah, it's they got it rough right now. So they really do. And unfortunately, I don't think that's gonna stop at any time. So it's not, because the PlayStation 6 is gonna come out in 2028, and we're already halfway through 2026. 2027 is around the corner. This year's gonna go like that. So they better get ready, because 2028 is either gonna be a good year or a bad year for them. Because here's what I think. I'm sorry, this video is gonna go longer. It's supposed to be the Black Flag criticism, but I figured I might as well just add it in there. Come 2028, and this is how I figured the trend's gonna go. People are gonna keep, pushing to have the physical media thing brought back, and they take back what they said, they retract what they said, and it's like, okay, fine, we'll bring it back, and we seen the petition, and the petition, let's say it got 1 million signatures or more. I was like, all right, we seen it, we heard you. Okay, they brought it, but if they don't, they think people are just gonna forget, let bygones, and just forget the whole situation. And when 2020 comes by, and they glamorize the PS6 and they throw these crazy features and they create their marketing material, and they get you there, they what's it called, a bait and switch. You know, like they manipulate the marketing. You know, they get you. You know, by the, I don't know what I'm trying to say is that their marketing is going to be like, all right, we need to make this as the coolest device ever. You know, just to make you to draw you in, basically, and just to keep you in focus and forget about everything else. Forget the past. Forget about the physical media. Here's a PS6, and this is what it can do. So, I don't know. That's gonna be fun. That's gonna be interesting to see if where that's gonna go. Cause I don't know. That's one of those situations where you gotta watch what they say. Cause as of now, anything and everything they've said, they can breathe. They can type the word breathe or cough on a post, and people are gonna say, "Bring back physical media." It's like they got nowhere to go, even though they've been posted on YouTube and other things, and they've been going anywhere else except X to post anything. So I mean, they've they don't know where to go. They yeah. Anyways, if you made it this far, thank you. Typically, you know, this is more of an open discussion thing, and you know, if you have your viewpoints, that's fine. But just don't say something you're gonna regret, because the internet is literally like a, how would you say, it's like a shelf that keeps record of everything, like a record book of all the things you said and anything you put in. That's like anyways, I'm just gonna, I got nothing else to say here. Thank you for watching the video, but just be mindful, watch what you say, and have a good rest of your week. Bye.